Welcome to Mindset 52 with JR Rivera. Today's episode, we have my good friend Garrett Tennant. Garrett, thank you so much for being on my podcast, man.
Definitely. Thanks for having me back.
Hell yeah. So this is episode 2 with Garrett. We're super excited to have you back. We've been talking about this for a while, actually, just for one reason or another. Obviously, it's peak season for both our businesses, so we've been both very, very busy, which is a great thing to say, to be able to say.
Been working on this for what, 2 months now?
Right? We've been trying to coordinate it, but it is what it is, obviously. But we're here today. And I wanted to kind of get back and start with updates with the last year. Yeah. What's been going on with Garrett? How's everything been, bro?
So I think when we met, we met January of last year, February?
Something like that? It was right at the beginning of the year.
I think we talked about my goals for last year being probably 70. Does that sound familiar?
I think so.
I think we talked about 70, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Ended up hitting 98 for the year last year. This year I'm still trying to pump it up even more.
So you did 98 transactions, just so everybody knows. He's a realtor here in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yep.
Absolutely crushes it. Been only doing it for a few years, right?
4
years now. 5 years now.
4
years. 4 years now. So 4 years and 98 transactions.
Yep.
Dude, you came on, you said you were gonna do it, and you did it. How was last year? Did you sleep?
Sometimes.
That's a lot of transactions, man. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of families.
A lot of families. No assistant, no nothing like that. So it's just me.
Just by yourself.
Just me.
Oh my God.
I don't know any different. So you just wake up, you grind, and you do it all over again the next day. So it's just kind of what you know, right?
You had this mindset of getting into the real estate world, and Did you have a mindset of getting in and crushing it right away, or were you just kind of feeling it out? Or because last year, you were only the year 2, 3,
yep,
and you were already like, no, dude, I'm gonna be. You're shooting the numbers like extremely high. I'm like, dude, I'm excited, and you actually came back and you did it. So, is this a mindset that you had since the get go, or is this something that you became, or is this been growing?
I'd say it's the way I've always been.
Yeah.
I don't go into anything not to be the best. In that space, it's just the way my mind works. So I would say, weird way, I just have like extreme self-confidence, I'm confident in my abilities to do X, Y, or Z, or, to put myself in a position to go and in this industry, it's getting clients, servicing clients, and then how do you maintain relationships going forward? So if you master those 3 things, everything else will come, all the small details about the job come, but if you master those 3 things, you'll have business. So I set forth right away to master those things, and it was just a matter of, hey, I put myself out here enough. I keep doing all the right things. At some point, it'll happen. And last year the floodgates finally opened.
Where does that confidence come from, Garrett? Like, tell me a little bit about your upbringing. Where do you come from? I know, but it's for everyone else.
So the self-confidence deal, it's, and you guys as business owners and other business owners might understand it. It's not from a confidence and I'm better than everybody, but it's just the extreme self-confidence of, I know I can work harder than everybody, right? So my entire life I've grown up and I've always prided myself on being the hardest working person in the room all the time. If somebody rises to a level that I'm at or was at, I'll rise above that. So I come from a background, we've talked about it before last year, if anybody's watching for the first time, come from a manufacturing family. Grew up in the manufacturing environment, got into some banking in high school. So my background kind of looks more like a banking, manufacturing operations type, background. So it's kind of a different background than most people have coming into real estate. I think a lot of people go from, some type of banking. Banking's not super uncommon, but having experience in management of people in a manufacturing environment, it certainly helps in some different ways than you would expect. So
definitely different.
Yeah.
And I think what that creates, a little diverse start, but it creates opportunity for you to find yourself and what those attributes are that can benefit your career, whatever that career is going to be. How did you come into real estate? What happened? How did you get into this?
So when I was banking, I got into investment properties.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
We talked about a little bit about last year, but got into investment properties. Started doing some fix and flip to rent type situations while I was working at the bank still. One thing led to another. Met my now wife. We moved down to Omaha. kind of continued to do the same thing, minus the bank job, because when we moved down to Omaha, I had to quit that. But, one thing led to another, and she told me to get my real estate license. And at first it was just, I'm going to go along the whole, investing in real estate. Because at the time that was popular, HGTV, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go flip a bunch of houses. I realized very quickly that's not what I wanted to do with my life. And I kind of ventured into real estate, realized that I had the tools and the abilities to be good at it. All I had to do was work. And there's one thing I know I can do, and it's work. So if I know what I have to do, and if there's benchmarks or personal goals that I have to hit, like if I hit X, Y, and Z for the next 6 months, I'm going to be successful, or 9 months or a year. I can hit those benchmarks, and let's just see if it happens.
So talk about benchmarks. That first year, how did that go?
So I got my license. So this will tell you. So I got my license in October 2022. Okay. So we'll have completed 4 years come October. October through August, so almost an entire year, I did not sell a single house.
Not a single house that first year.
But whenever you're building a business, in any environment, you have to lay the groundwork. The foundation has to be laid before you can start building, because if you just start, knocking them off, you have nothing to revert back to. So you have no process, you have no business to go back to. So I probably spent 9 months just building an infrastructure that I know would work once I got the business. So it's kind of like
you say that nonchalant. I mean, you say that very confidently. You talk about that, the confidence and the obsessive devotion that I feel like a lot of us entrepreneurs we have.
Yep.
But that's a lot easier said than done when you're 9 months later and you haven't actually had a
so
transaction.
When you start seeing the fruits of your labor a little bit. So we're 3 months in, and I'm starting to get people reaching out.
So you saw traction.
It's working,
Yeah,
right? It's working, but nobody's quite ready yet, which is fine. I'm never going to push anybody into anything that they're not ready for. So, hey, we're 6 months out. Perfect. I know this is going to start coming in at some point. You just have to build it out, because, it's all a numbers game. If you talk to 100 people, I don't know the exact statistics anymore, but you talk to 100 people, 5 of them are going to do something, but 4.5 of them are 6 months plus. So you have to talk to 200 people to get one person, so it's just a matter of numbers. You talk to as many people as you can. And once you start seeing leads pop in, it's like, okay, well, now we're starting to show some houses. Now I'm going on some listing appointments. They start to fall into place at some point, and, you start to see it working. And so you dive even further into it, and then you dive further into it. You ever seen the movie Facing the Giants?
I don't think I have. No.
One of my favorite movies as a kid. I could probably recite the entire thing, but there's a quote in there. Some guy's praying over some lockers in the high school, and
maybe I have.
The coach. It's a high school football movie, and the coach comes out, and the guy tells him some story about 2 farmers praying for rain. One just prays for rain and is waiting for it, and the other one goes and prepares his field to receive the rain. Which one do you think trusts God more to, provide? So that's kind of something I've carried with me. I was 5 years old and loved this movie.
Yeah.
So it's something kind of carried with me my entire life of like, hey, you have to be ready for the moments when they come. So you always have to be ready. So how do you lay the foundation before you start jumping into anything? So one thing about me is I have a lot of ideas, but I won't jump into anything until I know what that foundation in that setting looks like. So yeah, a lot of my friends and stuff would be like, yeah, Garrett throws around a lot of ideas about, what's next, or what in addition to what I'm doing now could be done. But, until I have some type of foundation or have time to build said foundation, nothing will ever happen. Just because you have nothing to revert back to.
I have to say that's true devotion into what you're building. And I feel like those fundamentals, that foundation that you're talking about, a lot of would-be business owners, that's exactly where they fail. Mm-hmm. They don't have that true commitment and understanding of how much work it actually takes to make it happen. For you to have that right from the get-go, I feel like that's a real clear sign that you will have some kind of traction in what you're doing. Yep. I wouldn't say success, because there's always a little bit of luck, yep, and there's always a little bit of doing the right things at the right time, right? Yep. Making it all happen and connecting the dots. But having that work ethic and having that ability of saying, no, let's have patience. Let's work on these things that I know will work, that are needed.
Yep.
Again, prepare for the rain, prepare the field. Dude, I wouldn't have been able to say that better. You know, that you have to be able to prepare everything and have everything ready to go for that opportunity when it shows up.
And that's kind of, we were talking about, I've been talking to, some other people about this too, but, in every business, there's some type of luck, and there's some moment that happens that you go, boom. But if you don't have the foundation built around your business, or you don't have the, tools in place to, capitalize on said luck or your big moment, you might have one big moment and then boom, you're done, right? So it's just like, okay, well, I know at some point, just from a odds perspective, it'll happen. So I just have to be ready for when it happens.
100%, man.
And I think that's where real estate in general, and other sales industry jobs, where we're big on, we own our own business, right? Yeah. Yes and no. Like, I'm obviously a business owner. I run my own business, but at the end of the day, like, we're still in that like gray area of sales as well. We're not in a sales industry where we're door knocking on doors and, selling people pest control or, selling cars. We're not really selling we're selling stuff, but like, we're more so just helping people get to where they want to be. Right. So, more of an advisor. I kind of like to think of real estate as an advisor versus selling. It's kind of a hybrid role, but, I think a lot of people think of this too heavily as a sales role. And, it's like one after another, boom, 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 boom. Let's see how fast we can just rattle off as many car sales as possible, because that's how you make money. But in this industry, it's, there's an element to the time it takes to build relationships with people. How do you set your business up for 5 to 10 years versus, what's 30 days from now look like? And that's kind of something I took to heart right away when I started my business, was like, okay, well, I want to build something that, I know that I'll have some type of presence in 10 years, versus, hey, let's just knock out as many leads as I can, day one, and see where that takes me.
Did you have any mentors right at the beginning, or did you see anybody that you were looking at?
Not really.
You just...
I kind of took from my experience of buying all those houses that I did. Yeah. What did I wish happened differently? I wish I had somebody more in my corner, So
very first person approach, you experienced everything, and you were like, well, this is something that I wish I would have had.
Yeah. And like, as first time home buyers, I mean, I'd say 70% of my business is first time home buyers. Yeah. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And so it's just all about being there for them during this time too. Like, hey, we got you a good deal on the house, yada, yada, yada. But like, also it's like, hey, shoot me a text. I want to know what's going on in your life. Like, I went, showed a house yesterday. And I had some clients that lived about 4 houses down the street that bought the house they live in now last year, about 4 houses down. And he was outside mowing his lawn and pulled up to the house. He recognized me right away, waved at him. After we got done showing the house, I walked down there, and him and his wife just got married. His now wife just got married, a month ago. But it's just kind of fun to be able to go in and, have some type of lasting, even though I haven't talked to these people probably in 6 months, but, just being able to have a conversation, and because I built that relationship.
I think that difference of caring and versus seeing just things as people as transactions, that defines your business. And I mean, people can see past bullshit. That's just the truth.
Well, it's true. I mean, in anything, right? Like, especially over, you can maybe get somebody through that, for a year. But when you start building a business, right? Like, if you're constantly BSing people, it gets around.
Yeah.
It's a small enough place.
It really is. And Omaha's a little big town. Yep. But so sorry to take you away from this episode, but I did want to take a quick second to introduce today's sponsor, which is Kano Complete Cleaning. They do everything from commercial, residential cleaning, to floor cleaning, tile cleaning, and everything in between. For all your cleaning needs, reach out to Kano Complete Cleaning. Well, so tell me a little bit about what happened next. So you were coming around August. You had your first transaction?
Yep.
Is that what was in August?
Yep, August of 23.
23.
Closed on my first house.
So, and that was pretty much as, I think interest rates were coming up at that time.
Yes,
right?
I don't know a good market.
It's pretty much, bro.
Like people talk about all the time, like, I don't know a good market. Like the best market for me is
just missed
interest rates at 5%. So like I've done all the work in the trenches to get, clients and, build those relationships in a time where, I wasn't around in the COVID market.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like. Like, I don't know what the market looks like when, you have people lining up to buy houses.
Right.
We're still in a seller's market per se, right? Market stats indicate that, but, it's not because we have an excess amount of buyers. It's because we have a limited amount of listings.
Inventory,
Yeah. So, I look forward to the day when the market, comes back, or, whatever that means, because I don't know what it looks like. So like, I just know these markets that people are like, oh yeah, this is the worst market since, 2015 to be a realtor in. And it's like, yeah, sure. Whatever you say.
How was that next year following that first year of base building?
So October to August, obviously 0. August to December, I did 15.
Oh, okay.
So, it came fast, and it came, pretty heavy. And then it was 15 into 45-ish to 60, whatever that 20, what would that have been? 24.
Yeah.
I think 45 to 60, somewhere in there. And then last year I did 98.
Wow.
So
you got going pretty quickly. That second year, did you feel that there was a lot of kind of wind pushing behind you, and you kind of had that momentum for that all the work that you did in that first
100%.
year? Yeah.
So like, you get into the
connection building,
I'm so used to sitting down and grinding out, contacts and building relationships, and, trying to do it in a way that isn't just like, hey, you want to buy or sell a house?
Right.
It's like actually building a relationship with people. So that way, when I got, most realtors would kill for 45 transactions in a year. Like that's, that's 6 to 10 years worth of deals for some people. Yeah. So like that first year of actually doing some true volume was like, okay, I don't know how to build a relationship with new people while also servicing, these people.
Right. Little juggling action.
Yeah.
There.
So it took every year's evolving, right? Yeah. So anytime you go from, hey, I'm averaging, 5 deals a month. Now I'm averaging 7. Now I'm averaging 8. Yeah. How all that looks different all the time. So how do you juggle these people while also trying to service new, at the same time? Right. So
and living your life.
Yeah, and having a life outside of it. So it's like, it gets to be a little complicated at times, but at the end of the day, you just do it.
I love it, man. The social media aspect, I want to talk a little bit about that. Because you're killing it on that side too. But how did that actually come across? Is it just consistency and it just over a period of time, or did it kind of spark up pretty quickly?
All since 2022. I was.
You were doing the same kind of videos, right?
Yeah,
from the beginning?
I've been doing the same thing for the last 5 years, or 4 years, or whatever it is.
So listen up, guys. If you've been thinking about a sometimes the strategy is the consistency that you put into your work.
Anything, right? So I talked on a board up in Detroit about, just, hey guys, whatever you choose to do to get clients or leads or build those relationships, if you just do it consistently, it'll work. Just most people aren't dedicated enough to the systems and the process of doing it that you just lose out on clients.
There's always a shiny thing. Yeah. The next thing. What's better? And, what's new?
9 months is, from some of the other people I talked to, 9 months is short. Yeah. Like to build any type of infrastructure for your business. But the one thing I didn't have is I don't have a sphere here. Now I know people like you guys, but most people I know are, other business owners or realtors. So like most people, when they get into their real estate license, they know at least a couple people, right? So like that first year can be kind of, funded by a friend buy or a family member buy or a sell. For me, it was like, I got to go meet everybody. Like everybody that I am going to do business with, I have to go meet. I don't know them yet. Like, so like right now it's next month, right? I want to generate some new clients for next month. I mean, it's an every month thing, right? But it's like, I don't know who that client's going to be. Like, and they probably know I exist, but I have no idea they exist.
At this point, is social media a crucial part of that
So
process, or that kind of
we're
a piece of that?
social media is always given a certain amount of business, right? So like I would say, that first year, 40, I did 45 to 55, somewhere in there, amount of deals, like that was all social media, 100% social media, because you're not getting any referrals. I mean, nobody's worked with you. So now we've kind of I built my social media since then. So I would say, and honestly, right now the market's not as hot as it was even in 23. So, I would say now, if you look at 100 deal span, I would say 50 to 60 are probably social media driven. Rest are referrals. Right now, I'm starting to get my first repeat clients. And you just kind of start building it out just a little bit more because more people now know that I exist.
So starting to lean a little bit more towards the referral side and become a little bit more built on your business.
And quite honestly, I probably need to be better about the referral side, repeat, that kind of stuff, just because that's a new part of my business. I have to start incorporating now that I've been in the business for 4+ years. I'm really bad, and this is just all across the board. I'm really bad for asking for business. Like I'm not good at it. I don't want to ask for business because I think it's salesy and it just kind of makes me squirm. So like all the referrals I've gotten are from people just having a good experience and being like, you need to hit Garrett up. So like I'm never asking for, hey, do you know anybody? I got some friends that I'll ask sometimes because it's kind of funny.
Sure.
And they're business owners too, so they ask the same thing all the time. But for the most part, like I don't ask people for business, just because it doesn't feel right.
What's the approach you're talking about? Having more of that advisor approach instead of sales approach. That was it's the same concept in our agency. It's the same thing. That conversation changes when your approach is more service oriented, advising oriented.
And that's the thing, right? I think you can be successful at it either way, right? Either in a sales approach or an advisor approach. But
you can be a sales dog and crush it.
Yeah,
it's just different.
The conversation turns to how can I help you versus let's get in and buy a house. So like it's like, hey, at a certain point, people are going to do what they want to do, and you have to let them do what they want to do. But you just are there to help them along the way in any way, shape, or form that you can. And not all the time does it go well. But when they do ask for your advice, you want to make sure that it's spot on and it's you stand by it.
100%.
So that's kind of the way I like to approach it. It's more of a an advisor friend relationship way versus sales tactics.
Right.
Like I don't read any of those books. I think sales is if people are either going to buy it or they're not. There's nothing I can't stand more than a door-to-door salesman that won't leave your front door after you say no.
We have the same approach, man.
Like, it makes a big difference. Infuriating.
Yeah, it does. I had a couple of questions here. I wanted to see if I'd ask you a couple of things that I wrote down. I guess I just wanted to kind of get your perspective on your position right now in the market. At this level, what actually separates top producers, would you say, from everyone else?
I'm honestly just having those systems, just being able to rely on your work ethic. And like, seriously, my system is my work ethic. Like I don't have anything shiny. I don't even have a CRM. I just go to work every day. Yeah. And I think just there's an understanding of just people too that I think top producers have in this market, that just like I can relate to people. I understand the needs that people have. What does the real world look like type conversations. And honestly, I think it boils down to work ethic at the end of the day. People build out a big business over the course of 15 years. And then at that point, you can start to rely more on repeat and referrals, and you don't have to go grind it out every day. But I don't work that way. Just my brain doesn't work that way. And yours doesn't either.
Right.
So
yeah. As you're growing all this, you're getting. I saw that you just reached out to social media, putting out that you wanted to hire an assistant, right?
Yep.
And you wanted to kind of start scaling your business with somebody else helping you alongside. What does that look like? What's your intention behind that?
I don't know yet. I know I need help in some capacity.
Well, 90 some transactions.
Mostly just from a paperwork.
Sure.
My business is solely built on me. Yeah. So like I have, I know a bunch of realtors and it works out great for them. But my dynamic with my clients is a little bit different because most of my stuff's done on social media, right? So like if they reach out to me as Garrett Tennant, they want to work with Garrett Tennant. So I never want them not working with Garrett Tennant.
I understand the feeling.
So for me, it has nothing to do with like, I don't want a showing assistant. Like obviously I have some different agents that help me out when I'm gone and out of town. Just because I have so many clients that like, if I'm gone on a Saturday, like I need somebody to help me.
Yeah.
But as far as like a true assistant goes, like I just want somebody to help me with some like paperwork, have access to my email because I'm not gonna lie to you, my email goes unread till probably 5. I look at it at about 10, noon, and then 5.
Yeah.
Because like when I'm out and about, it's like I'll look at my text messages all day long. Because usually that people that need me or need to get hold of me call me or text me. So my emails go a little bit unread at times. So sorry to all the agents that are watching.
Well,
if you sent me an email recently,
because of your approach and your, I guess, intentionality and your commitment to what you do you have a certain set of attributes or there's like an avatar built out for this individual that you're looking for? That way you can kind of put it out to the masses. Who are you looking for? What's your person?
I really want somebody that thinks and works like me. So like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like I expect somebody, and this is where it gets hard, right? As a business owner, I want somebody that works as hard as I do, but also like, it's not your business. Like I can't expect you to work as hard as I do. I just want somebody that's available, right? Period. Everybody says they're available, but if you just get into real estate and your job is to be available, people aren't available.
Right.
Not in the same capacity that I'm looking for. So, when I put that out on Facebook, we were sitting in Hawaii on a beach. I knew that it would take a little bit of liquid courage to throw something out there like that, but I also haven't, fully dove into it yet because I got a lot of messages about it. And if I'm being honest,
several candidates.
Well, if I'm being honest, I haven't really read into, like, if you guys messaged me about it, I'm sorry, I haven't gotten that far yet because I got back to this and now I'm back on the grind.
Yeah, back in May now, May market.
Yeah, Let's go. It's I don't really know what I'm looking for yet. I'm kind of just hoping I meet the right person and I go, you're the person I need.
If I'm gonna do it, that's the way to do it. The approach needs to be much more organic instead of hurried. And right now, I feel like you're looking at it with the right approach. Yep. Usually, people get hasty.
It kind of stinks right now because like I don't have time to go meet people for coffee, right? Like I'm not gonna do a traditional interview because that's just not who I am.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, I meet you organically and I like you. I could offer you a job on the spot.
Yeah.
Like I'm in that position where it's just like, you want a job?
Yeah.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
So TBD.
Yeah.
and honestly, it'll take the right person. I'll go, I know I need help. And then I meet the right person. It's like, okay, these are the spots you can help me with.
Right.
Like, and it might just be a fluid, decision on the spot. Like, hey, maybe you aren't that great at emails. Maybe I just need help in other capacities that I don't even know I need help in.
Yeah.
So just waiting for it to kind of come organically, but I want it to be known to the world that, I'm looking.
I like that. You gotta keep your eyes open, definitely, and put it out to the masses. Sorry to take you away from today's episode, but I did want to mention today's sponsor, which is also Accent Insurance. Accent Insurance is your go-to insurance agency here in Eastern Nebraska and Iowa. We are here to provide services for all kinds of insurance, from home insurance, auto insurance, life insurance, and everything in between. For all your insurance needs, reach out to Accent Insurance. Another question for you here. What habits or routines have the biggest impact in your consistency?
Oh, boy.
Do you have certain things that you do?
I'd say my routine kind of varies a little bit just because my mind is so active that I need to change my routine. Otherwise, I get bored.
Really?
So, but it's small things like, what time I go to the gym.
Yeah.
That's a big one for me is, even though the gym becomes like a second office, like I do a lot of work at the gym. It's just like the one place where I feel like, you get some stress out. There's some anxiety that comes with, any type of business owner of like, especially in this industry where, there's no reoccurring revenue. What I sell today, I get paid on in 30 to 45 days. So, it's the gym time is probably the most important factor of my day. whether that's just walking on a treadmill, whether it's going to lift, whether it's simply just going for a walk or doing something. The exercise is important. Right now, my routine is pretty simple. I get up at, between 6 and 7. I head to the office. I get all my, morning paperwork, some initial client conversations. Get all of the morning stuff done that usually with current clients, like people that are under contract or that I'm working on getting under contract. Those are kind of my morning conversations between, 7:30 and probably 9 o'clock ish. Mostly because I don't want to hit anybody up that I don't know or, that I'm working on building relationship with right when you're getting into work.
Yeah.
That to me just doesn't, I wouldn't appreciate that. So I saved a lot of those conversations for, after lunch. Let's build rapport after lunch. You got most of your fires should be put out by the end, at a normal 9 to 5 by, 1, 2 o'clock. And then you start working on, tomorrow's problems. So,
that's an interesting approach.
I like to build my relationships in the afternoon. And that sounds bad that like you have to time block to build relationships, but like, as we all know,
we just never thought about that. That's a good point of view. I guess you're right on that. I mean, most people do get to the difficult stuff. Yeah. Ideally, you get to you're not putting it off, right? You get to the stuff right in the beginning of the day. But.
So and that comes from I just have a diverse working background. Yeah. So I just know how the average somebody that doesn't work in a job where you're your own business owner, where you make your own hours, where you do that. Like when you work a true job, like half the people can't even be on their phone during work. So. It's kind of just, so then, 9 o'clock comes around. I usually go hit the gym up until, go home, eat lunch, go to the gym. And gym is not just like, let's go lift for 2 hours and be unresponsive on my phone. Like normally that I work just as much during that 2 hour period that I do any part of the year and any part of the day. Like if you see me at the gym, I'm usually on my phone doing something. But it's just a nice little space break. Like, like change the venue up,
change the scenery.
Yep. Coffee shops are big for me, like just anywhere that, just makes it feel like I'm doing something a little bit, even though I'm doing the exact same thing. But if I'm doing it at the gym, if I'm doing it at the office, if I'm doing it at a coffee shop, like, it just changes mentally for me, or you find the things that make it change, right? I also feel like as a realtor, sometimes you can feel very alone. Yeah. Just because you don't have, you can go to office and there's, 40 realtors there. But at the end of the day, you're all competition. That's if they do a business, that's a client you don't have, which is fine. I mean, there's more clients in Omaha to go around than anybody knows to do with. But at the end of the day, like, you don't get to have that relationship with people, coworkers that are going through the same thing. Like, there's no, especially in my shoes, there's a very limited amount of people that have experienced some of the things that I've experienced. Because if you think about it, I have, with just call it 100 transactions last year, 50 transactions the year before, 60 transactions the year before, and then 30 or whatever it was. So I mean, just call it 180 transactions in the last 3 years. That's like experience-wise, quote unquote experience, like. That's 30 years in the game. Yeah. Because the average realtor sells less than 5 houses a year. So
that's a big difference.
You're looking at 30 years of experience in 3 years' time. So I think sometimes as a realtor, the hardest part about continually to grow and, evolve your business and keep doing the things that you're doing, especially as somebody who's by myself, like it's just me, there's not a lot of people to talk to. They say a lot like it's lonely at the top. Yeah. Because you just can't relate to people. This is what's going on in my business, and they look at you like, huh?
I feel like another aspect to it is typically if you're doing what you're doing, you're probably a little too busy to even create that relationship with somebody else and have that opportunity to interact with somebody else that's doing like work. It's not going to be that easy.
Well,
everybody's doing their own thing.
If we're being honest, like I don't want to go build a relationship with another realtor.
Right. Yeah.
Like if it happens organically, great. There's a lot of realtors I love, but you know, it's like, I don't want to go get coffee with somebody at 9 o'clock in the morning, because that cuts into my routine. And, you know, that's an hour that I'm not able to do business. So, you know, it's just, sometimes it's like, you know, I'd like to, like, realistically, I'd love to meet everybody and, you know, have a bunch of friends and, you know, have people I can call on the weekends to go do things with. But like, you know, with how busy life gets and how busy I am and my family is, it's just, you know.
And you have a lot going on. Your wife is now in the medical field.
Yeah.
She's
starts
doing
residency.
A lot. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
We just went to her graduation party and got to meet everyone, a lot of your family, which is phenomenal. Great family, man. I can see a lot of the positive roots there. And you have a lot of things going on right now. How does this year look like for you? Like, how's it started so far, and how's it looking already for the rest of it? I mean, have you seen some projections? Well, how are you seeing the momentum?
I'm not gonna lie, like, managing burnout is a daily, weekly, you know, it's a weekly task. You know, you just grind. I mean, it's 7 days a week. It's not like, you know, 4 or 5, it's 7 days of, you know, there's been a couple weeks. I like to track my hours I don't know, I'm weird like that, and I like to, but I like to track my hours, like, hey, how much do I actually work this week? Like, I don't do it every week, but like, there's some weeks where I go, I just want to know how much I work. And some weeks are, you know, my quote unquote not as busy weeks, and then some are extremely busy. But like, you know, there's been a couple weeks that, you know, I've put in 16-hour days Monday through Friday, and then another 12 on Saturday, Sunday. So whatever that equates to, 24 and
it's a lot.
80, 90, 94 hours. Does that sound right? Maybe. I don't know.
You just
84,
going
84
to bed,
hours.
waking up, and back at it.
So, I mean, there's been weeks where it's just like, I didn't see my wife. I, you know, hardly ate. It's just, and then there's some weeks where you work, my slow weeks are 60 plus hours, 65. So, you know, it's just, how do I manage burnout, but also like, how do I manage my own expectations for myself versus how do I manage the expectations other people put on me now?
Right.
Because it's juggling a lot. So half the battle is just managing that burnout that I feel like, and that's where it's kind of hard to relate to people, because it's like, yeah, like, I do like my job. I love my job, but like, sometimes it's like, you know, because even when I go on a vacation, right, I'm working.
Yeah.
You know, we went to Hawaii a couple weeks ago, and I worked probably 40 hours while I was there, which seemed like vacation to me, because that's significantly less than I normally work. But I mean, I still worked 40 hours, and it's like, I never truly can just put my phone away. But at the same time, I don't want to put my phone away, because if I put my phone away, the calls stop coming in, you know, and like business, if I stop doing business for a week, that's a lot of business.
Do you feel that commitment too, of not letting somebody down?
Yeah, I don't want to let anybody down, you know? So like,
that's all my clients, worry.
Yeah, all my clients could probably tell you, like, if they text me and they go, hey, Garrett, can we go look at this tonight? Yeah. And, you know, it's 5 o'clock. I have showings until 8, or I have other meetings or whatever going on till 8. Like, I'll be like, hey, like, I can do it at 8:30. Because I also just understand that, like, you know, timeliness in our industry, timeliness in any industry is key. Yeah. So it's like, you know, how do I manage that? But also like, hey, my wife wants to see me when I get home. Right. But also like, I have a mortgage to pay, even though, you know, I don't really have to worry about our mortgage being paid, but like, I still worry about it because I'm a guy, and that stuff is, you know, hey, that I got to pay my mortgage. I pay my cars, you know, like, I got all these things I got to pay for. So, you know, if I say no to that, you know, am I going to lose that client? Like, I hope not. Like, I feel like I've done enough for them at this point that, like, they wouldn't leave me just because I can't show a house tonight. But then I go, okay, well, in the real estate market the way it is, if I don't show them this house tonight and it sells in the morning, right? You know, like, I didn't do my job.
What's your commitment, Garrett? What's your commitment?
Yeah,
that's a. I
but
feel like it's a cycling thought.
It's 100%. A true thing of, like, you know, if my phone's probably buzzing down there on the floor right now, and and it's like, you know. What do you do if you can't answer for 24 hours? You know, like,
and there's happens? It's a heavy weight that we carry because it's our brand. Yep. That's another thing that we're just carrying.
You wear it every day. Yes. Your face is your brand, and it just gets to the point where it's like, what's the next step? And like you start talking to other people about it, and even other business owners don't quite understand, the toll. A lot of people want to say, oh yeah, as a realtor, you get to make your own schedule. You get to live a great life. You get to do whatever you want to, essentially, whenever you want to. And it's like, I'd agree to that to a certain point of business, right? Like, but once you get to the point where it's like, I do nothing all day besides work. I mean, that's literally all I do. And for all those that are watching, like, I like my job. Please keep calling me. Yeah. But like, there just gets to a point sometimes where it's like, I need to put my phone down for 6 hours. But also at the same time, like, if I do that, then I got to catch all that up tomorrow, and I don't have time to do that tomorrow because I'm already busy.
It's a constant cycle of commitment.
Yeah. If I put that off today, that just means I have to add that to my list of already very busy things going on tomorrow. Yeah. So, and I also like to pride myself on the fact that like all my clients feel like they're my only client. They know they're not, but like I always want somebody to be like, oh yeah, like Garrett has done everything he could for me. Like I have a relationship with this guy. He cares about me. Anytime he asks for something, we ask for something, like he's there. And that's important to me. And I think it's important to my brand, and that's kind of what I built it on. So as you continue to get busier and busier, like I want to keep providing that service. So it's just all about time management and, cutting things out of my day that no longer have room. Hey, what's fat that could be trimmed in my day? And, when you go from, most realtors would probably tell you if they did 50 transactions a year, their head would fall off. So, but like at 50, it was like, okay, well, let's keep going. I did 100 and let's keep going. Like, let's go hit 120 this year. Let's hit.
Is that your goal for this year?
Yeah.
120?
Yep.
How's it looking so far?
We're at 58.
Jesus. That's awesome, man.
So, yeah.
Dude, hell yeah, man.
That's
awesome.
Appreciate it. But yeah, so it's just kind of like, keep growing, keep building. And like, that's the way my brain works. So like next year, if I hit my 120 this year or get close enough that I can say like I accomplished, like last year my goal was 100 and I hit it 98. I wasn't bummed about that at all. I was like, okay, well I hit my goal. It's close enough.
Yeah.
If I hit my 120 and they're right there, it's like, okay, well, why can't I do 200?
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, right?
Like, what?
I have the ability to do it. I'm sure I could even trim more fat around my day, and that's like, okay, well now I have to bring somebody in to, and I've even thought about hiring a driver.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, honestly, just like I spend most of my day driving, so if I hired a driver, like Lincoln Lawyer, seriously though, like I've thought about hiring a driver that just drives me around.
Dude, 100%.
Because that would free up about 4 hours of my day.
Dude, there's sometimes it's like a little bit sense of anxiety when you have all these. Yeah. It's just buzzing. You see it on the screen, just the new tax, call coming. You can't do everything at once, and driving can actually take quite a bit of time, especially for you. The real estate world, you guys are moving around quite a bit.
So like my goal before I call it a day in real estate is to hit 200.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's been done in Nebraska. Like, I really have no idea.
Well, let's see it happen, bro. Let's make it freaking happen.
That's the goal in, the next probably 5 years. And then, tone it back a little bit. I mean, like I want to be a present dad when my wife and I do decide to have kids. Like, I want to be a dad first and foremost. So like right now it's just like, let's grind until I start having kids. And then at that point it's like, hey, like my first and foremost thing is to be a father. And right now it's kind of tough too, because it's like, I want to be the best husband I can be. But like right now, I just don't like the time it stinks, and but also we just talked about it. Like if I say no to this person at this time, maybe that's a cascade effect that affects 12 clients down the road that I could have because this person had a bad experience and now I'm not going to get those referrals. Yeah. It's just like a spiral of brain rot that like you just fall down. And
I hear it, man, and I feel it down to the core. I feel it down to the core, man.
But maybe that's just because I'm still young enough where all that stuff matters. I don't have. Sometimes I've heard children put things in perspective. Yeah, and I'd agree with that. I just don't know yet.
Well, speaking of that, speaking of age, how old are you? 20.
I just turned 26.
26. All right, so 26 years old, man. I usually ask this question. It's only a few years back, but if you could tell your 21-year-old self something and tell them with the experience that you have today, what would that one thing be?
Honestly, it'd be, I'd commend him for building a work ethic, you know, like I think, and I've told this to a lot of people, like you can be the most educated person in the room, but if you don't have a work ethic, you know, in this type of job space, right? Like where the harder you work, the better off you're going to be. You know, I'd commend him on his work ethic. You know, I'd be like, you know, and also thanks mom and dad, you know, like for pushing that and instilling that. I've always thought that I'm a pretty savvy business guy. You know, my entire life goal when I was 18 through 20-ish was to go be a CEO at at some type of business or, you know, be some high level exec. But I also know myself well enough that being a high level exec wouldn't be good enough. Like I'd have to be the guy. And, you know, I was committed to working my way up to that point. And then I kind of backward handedly fall into this and, you know, here I am. And I wouldn't change it for the world, but I just commend him on his work ethic, really. I mean, just like, hey, keep working hard. The sky's the limit, you know, and even looking at it now, it's like, okay, well, I've come this far in 5 years. What can I do in the next 5? You know,
I love it, dude.
And honestly, you know, what's still out there? You know, I just kind of have one of those brains. It's like, I like my job and I have no intention on getting out of this space anytime soon because you know, I'm not the best in the state yet. So I gotta clip that goal.
You're getting there, bro.
Yeah, we're trying. But you know, I just want to hit all these goals I have for myself. And then, you know, like I said, I want to hit a $200 or 200 mark of sales. Like that'd be freaking cool. Like that's awesome. And then, you know, at that point, say I do it for another 5 years and I hit that, you know, if you say 75 to 100 transactions a year, getting up to that point, you know, that's over a lifetime, that's 700 clients I've helped. And, you know, at that point I have a self-revolving business and, you know, at that point, do you have something you can sell? I mean, I don't, that's just the way my brain works, but,
I love that approach. And I love the approach that you're commending, you know, talking about commending your 21-year-old self. Most people are like, go invest in Bitcoin, you know, something like that. But I love it because you're actually attacking that self-confidence that you started off talking at the very beginning of this conversation. It's a commitment to your craft. It's a commitment to who you are and who you want to be.
Well, I think that maybe says it better than what I was trying to explain it earlier. It's like, you know, the self-confidence isn't necessarily like a confidence that's like, if I walk into a room, like I'm confident in myself. Like that's not me. But the self-confidence that I have in myself is like, I know that in my craft, like even if it's just me and I'm the only other person that I can compare myself to, like I am the best at my craft. Yeah. And my craft is only my own. Yeah. So like, even if it's that, like, it's just like a commitment to myself and a self-confidence in myself. That's just like, I'm going to be the best I'm going to be today.
Yeah.
You know, might be worse than yesterday, but it's gonna be the best I got today, you know? So, and I think that approach in life helps too. You know, like there's a lot of things in life you can't control.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes I let myself go there and like, it's like, I can't control that. So let's just dial it back into something I can control. And maybe it's like a compulsion deal where it's like, there's one thing in life I can control, you know, and it's my work.
Stay in that.
So it's like, you know, like my work ethic is the only thing I can control in my life. So,
controllable.
Let's just dive into it and be the best at it. You know, and I think my work ethic's taken me farther in life than anything else has.
Yeah.
So
I love it, man. Garrett, thank you so much for joining me today.
Definitely.
I appreciate you, man.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.
I look forward to watching you hit all those goals and achieve everything that you want to achieve, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.